This silence around you, it wasn't punishment. It was prophecy. The absence of friends, the closed doors, the weight you carry when no one's watching, it was never evidence of your failure. It was the evidence of your marking. So tell me, was it isolation, or was it initiation? Was it loneliness, or was it legacy being carved in silence? Because when heaven chooses a woman to birth something sacred on the earth, he first removes the noise, then closes the circle, then lets her feel the ache, so she can hear the call. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear may explain everything. The sleepless nights, the quiet ache, the way no one truly understands you. By the end of this message, you will know why heaven chose you, and why they couldn't walk with you. Welcome to Chosen One Sanctuary, where the hidden are remembered and the marked are prepared. Even Jesus, before the cross, before the miracles, before the outpouring, was led by the Spirit into the wilderness alone. Matthew 4:1. Not forsaken, but forged. So stay, because the signs that are about to unfold may explain your entire life. The Divine Isolation Code. You were not left out. You were set apart. Before your gifts were visible, before your strength was praised, before your voice was trusted, heaven had already written your name in a different ink. The path of the chosen woman does not begin with applause. It begins in absence. Absence of validation, absence of understanding, absence of company. But this absence was not abandonment. It was divine insulation. When God prepares a vessel for holy purpose, he removes noise. He separates the sacred from the familiar. Like Moses hidden in the reeds, like David forgotten in the field, like Mary overshadowed in silence. The hidden ones are heaven's greatest threat. You weren't isolated because you were unworthy. You were isolated because you were dangerous to darkness, and every moment you felt overlooked was a moment God was anointing you in private. The loneliness wasn't cruelty, it was the mark of consecration. So ask yourself, what if your solitude was heaven's sanctuary, not hell's strategy? The eyes that see too much. You didn't ask to see this much, to feel so deeply, to sense what others deny, but you do. The chosen woman carries an eye that pierces illusion, and a heart that grieves what others celebrate. You feel the tension in the room before a word is spoken. You discern the motives beneath smiles. You dream what others ignore. You know, not by study, but by spirit. Like Joseph, your dreams have made you strange. Like Jeremiah, your truth makes you weep. Like Elijah, your clarity isolates you. The world calls it overthinking. God calls it prophetic perception. And yet, this gift is a burden. Because what you see, others resist. What you carry, others reject. Your gaze threatens false peace. So you learned to stay silent, to shrink your knowing, to dim the light behind your eyes. But today, hear this. You weren't wrong. You were early. The time is coming when your sight will be required, not suppressed. And every moment you withheld your voice will be redeemed with authority. But first, will you trust your vision, even when it costs you comfort? The wound that trains the warrior pain was your tutor, silence, your school, and heartbreak, your curriculum. You were trained in nights no one saw, graduated from classrooms of loss and betrayal, earned your authority through scars, not titles. You survived the things that should have shattered you. You rebuilt when no one offered bricks. You forgave without apology. You stayed soft when bitterness would have been easier. Like Job, your losses were a battlefield of worship. Like Hagar, you were sent away, but seen by God. Like Ruth, you followed loyalty into the unknown. What they called weakness was actually wisdom forming. What they called collapse was actually consecration. You weren't broken beyond repair. You were broken open, so something holy could live inside. And now, the very wounds you tried to hide are becoming altars. If you feel this in your spirit, comment 404 below as a prophetic sign that you are still listening, still standing, and still becoming. The misunderstood. Calling you've never fit the mold, and you never will. From the beginning, the world tried to assign you a smaller script. Be quieter, be softer, be smaller, settle, comply, conform. But something inside you refused. A divine dissonance, a sacred restlessness. You played along for a while, but the deeper call would not let you sleep. Like Esther, you felt the tension between the palace and the people. Like Deborah, you bore justice in your bones. Like Hannah, you cried until heaven moved, and yet your fire was called rebellion. Your standards were called arrogance. Your discernment was labeled judgment. But hear this now. You weren't disobedient. You were differently sent. Your calling offends systems that prefer silence over sight. The closer you get to obedience, the more misunderstood you will become. But what if the misunderstanding was part of your protection? The solitude of the scroll. There comes a moment when even the chosen must be alone with the scroll. No crowd, no applause, no explanation, just you. And the words written in the quiet before time. God pulls you back, not to punish, but to unseal what has been hidden. Like Jesus in the wilderness, you are not abandoned. You are being prepared. Heaven does not entrust blueprints to noisy rooms. It whispers purpose in the valley of shadows. You cried out for answers. He handed you stillness. You begged for release. He offered you refinement. The scroll doesn't open in celebration. It opens in consecration. Will you read what he's written even when no one is watching? The separation before elevation. Elevation never comes without separation, and some of the losses you mourned were answers to prayers you forgot you prayed. He removed who could not rise with you. He silenced what distorted your frequency. You asked for more of God, so he made less of everything else. Like Abraham, you had to leave the familiar. Like Lot's wife, some around you looked back when you were commanded to move forward, and still you hesitated. But now, he is severing ties that tether you to smallness. You weren't abandoned. You were cleared for altitude. So ask yourself, what are you still holding that heaven has already released? The darkness knew you. First hell targeted you early, because heaven named you first. You thought the early attacks were random, but they were recognition. The trauma in your childhood, the shame that followed you, the spiritual warfare that felt unrelenting. All of it was confirmation, because demons don't waste bullets on the unmarked. They recognize heavenly scrolls before they're opened. Like Moses, you were hunted before you could speak. Like Jesus, you were pursued before you performed. The darkness smelled destiny on you, but it failed, because what God seals, hell cannot sabotage. This is why the attacks increased when you got closer to clarity. It wasn't your imagination. It was intimidation. The greater the calling, the earlier the targeting. But now the enemy's grip is breaking, because what tried to kill you actually activated you. The unshakable authority. You've survived enough to walk in trembling authority. This is not pride. This is power that has been refined through fire. You speak with weight, because your voice has been soaked in silence. You move with wisdom, because your steps have been watched by God. Like Esther, your voice can shift kingdoms. Like Deborah, your word carries strategy. Like Mary Magdalene, your testimony carries resurrection. What was once dismissed as too much is now becoming the standard for heavenly disruption. The oil on your life is not cheap. It was crushed, pressed, fought for, and now you walk with scrolls in your mouth. The time of shrinking is over. The time of silence is complete. Are you ready to carry what cost you everything? The commissioning of the quiet ones. You've whispered for long enough. Heaven is now calling your yes out of hiding. You will not need a pulpit. Your life is the sermon. Your scars are the authority. Your love is the evidence. Like Hannah, your cries birthed a prophet. Like Mary, your womb carried world-changing wonder. Like Rahab, your risk rescued generations. You were hidden to be revealed, prepared to be released, forged to be commissioned. You are not just a woman. You are a breaker of cycles, a midwife to movement, a guardian of glory. Heaven is no longer asking you to be ready. It is telling you, now, the rise of the remnant. You are not alone, and you were never meant to carry this fire in isolation. Across cities, nations, and timelines, chosen women are rising. They bear the same scars. They've walked the same valleys. They carry the same ache, and the same assignment. The loneliness you felt was not abandonment. It was the signal that you are part of the remnant. The ones who stayed faithful in silence. The ones who didn't quit when it cost everything. The ones who still believe that holiness is not outdated. It's overdue. You are not the only one. You are part of a movement, and your voice matters to its sound. So listen closely, because the next scroll isn't coming to one woman. It's coming to all of us. The echo. Beyond her voice. What you've endured was never just about you. Your journey was always about those who would come after you. Your silence carved space. Your suffering paved roads. Your resilience planted seeds in timelines you may never see. Like Deborah under the palm tree, your legacy will judge and deliver. Like Ruth in the field, your footsteps will lead to redemption you didn't plan for. And like Mary, your surrender will birth a movement that heaven named before time began. You are not just walking, you are echoing. And long after your voice grows quiet, your scroll will still speak. You weren't abandoned. You were anchored in a silence that only the chosen understand. God didn't forget you. He framed you in fire, so when the winds came, you wouldn't break. What felt like delay was actually disguise. What looked like loneliness was actually consecration. And now, heaven is lifting the veil. You've passed through what others could not endure. You stayed when leaving would have been easier. You believed when answers were nowhere to be found. And because of that, you are standing at the edge of your divine release. You are no longer just a woman carrying pain. You are a scroll carrier, a breaker of silence, a voice heaven trusts. Your presence is not random. Your story is not wasted. Your authority is not borrowed. You have been marked. You have been forged. And now, you are being sent. If this word pierced through the walls of your heart, comment 777 below as a prophetic sign that your scroll has been confirmed. Share the moment that stirred your spirit the most. Let your voice rise and echo across this sacred space. And if your heart is still burning, subscribe and stay connected to Chosen One's sanctuary, because the remnant is rising, and your alignment with it is no accident. You are not alone. You are the next echo.